I'm so happy to have found this place. All the moss just hanging off everything. Well, it's a beautiful morning and I'm very excited for this walk. I don't know whether I can do everything I want to do because there are a few obstacles, but I've got a lot of things on my itinerary today and they're all good, and with the exception of one, they're going to be all new for me. And this is an area where very few people come. This is my first objective, and it's the one objective from today's walk that I've previously done. This is Ewden Stone Circle. It's very overgrown. It's believed to date back to the Bronze Age. It's a little bit unclear. People are not quite sure whether it is a genuine stone circle or a circle cairn or something like that. It's very overgrown. It was only discovered after a moorland fire some years back, where all the heather was burned and this came into view. As you can see, once again, the heather has grown up. I think even if you had a drone and were able to get some aerial views looking straight down, it'd be very difficult to make out the stone circle. Yeah, this is Broomhead Dike. The wall follows the dike. It's actually an ancient earthwork, and on both sides of it, Bronze Age burial mounds were discovered. The modern OS map doesn't show much in relation to the barrows, the Bronze Age barrows, but if you look at older maps, they are marked quite clearly. Broomhead Dike is a classic ancient defence where a ditch has been dug and then all the earth has been piled up to create a defensive mound. So you've got a mound and ditch. Down there in the valley is Ewden Beck. Some great views opening up. Look at all that. I'm going to have to go and have a closer look. This is not just the shooting cabin, it's the shooting lodge, and it's quite old. It's on the old maps and it looks like it's still in use. There's a couple of workers. This path is quite boggy. The next little clough is called Oaken Clough, and I'm going to try and descend down into Ewden Beck if it's possible. It's very pretty, and it does help that the sun's shining. This is absolutely amazing. I bet you Padley Gorge is absolutely rammed today, but there's no one here but me. This is truly magical. When I was plotting the route for today, this wasn't even one of my objectives. This was simply a way of getting down to where I wanted to get to. I had no idea it was going to be as nice as this. Look at it. It's mossy, it's rocky, there's little cascades of water, and it's completely untouched, unspoilt. All the moss just hanging off everything. I could quite happily spend the rest of today just here. This has made the walk worthwhile, massively worthwhile just in itself. And yet there is so much more that I was planning to do today. This was such an unexpected find today. I'm so happy to have found this place. Right, I'm at the bottom, and this is Ewden Beck. Well, I haven't carried my wellies with me all this way for nothing. Not a bad spot to sit and eat your monster munch. I am absolutely loving this walk. It's walks like this that make exploring the Peak District so worthwhile. I'm going to head up onto the top because it's going to be fairly slow going if I just try to follow the beck. So I believe this is Gallows Rocha. Which, along with Raven Rocha, which is further along that way, are supposedly places of human sacrifice to the god Odin. Those are the fox stones. When I did my Pikelow walk, I was planning to go to the fox stones just because they're really difficult to get to and no one ever goes there. I knew they weren't particularly impressive. I just wanted to go to them because no one else goes there. Anyway, there they are. I don't think I can be bothered to actually go up to them. At least not today. It's far more interesting over here. This is called Washfold Flat, and I believe it was where the shepherds used to wash the sheep. And this is yet one of the other objectives for today's walk. In fact, we've only one objective left after this. So the next section is entirely off piste, and it is going to be boggy and it's going to be tough. It's also a fairly long way to go to get to where I want to go next, but it should be worth it. Although it would have been a lot more worth it in the past, and I'll explain more about that later. I've not got much further to go before I achieve my final objective. I was starting to think I wouldn't be able to find this. This is the wreckage of a Sterling aircraft. I put the information on the screen. Crashed in July 1944. Miraculously, no one was killed. Some people were injured, some people were perfectly okay afterwards. There's a little bit of wreckage in a few debris pools. I've been looking all over, and this is the first one I found. Hopefully I'll be able to find a little bit more. Believe it or not, this was once one of the biggest aircraft crash sites in the Peak District. There was loads of wreckage, but at some point most of the wreckage was airlifted away by helicopter and now resides in a museum. So there's only a few pieces left. Once you've found one debris pool though, it becomes relatively easy to find more wreckage. I believe this is where the majority of the wreckage was found. I'm fairly sure there is more left than I've been able to find, but the grid references that I have, the coordinates I have, are not exact. I've had to spend quite a bit of time looking around, and the main wreckage site, or what was the main wreckage site, was quite a way off what I have marked on the map. You could be standing right next to a fairly sizable piece of wreckage and just not see it until you were stood on it. This has been pretty tough and exhausting, and it's taken a while. I'm still a fair distance off the old shooting lodge, and then when I'm back there, there's still a few miles back to the car, but I will take an easier route to get back to the car from the shooting lodge. There is quite a well-maintained track that I can take. Back at Oaken Clough, the workers have gone. I can get a little bit of a closer look now. This is what they were doing. Broomhead Dike is just up there, but I'm lower down on the access road to the shooting lodge. Coming towards the end of the walk now, almost back of the car. I don't know why, but I feel really tired. This has been quite a tough walk. It's been a very interesting walk. Some of the objectives were amazing. Some of them were a little bit disappointing. But I think the highlights for the walk was Oaken Clough, which wasn't even an objective. It was simply a way of getting down to Ewden Beck and getting down to Gallows Rocha and Raven Rocha. It really was. It wasn't intended to be anything special, but it was the highlight of the walk, I think. And then Ewden Beck itself, with the waterfalls and the wooded areas, was just amazing as well. So those were the highlights.